everybody, Marlene, aka Snowgardener307. The time has finally come to do our 2024 debt update. I'm excited to say this year we're adding some other components in it besides debt. As we're going through our debt-free journey, of course, we've been able to add savings, and now we're going to be able to start adding more investing in. So we wanted to start getting some numbers. So let's go ahead and jump into this.
Wake up, today's gonna be a good day. Wake up, today's gonna be a good day. Wake up.
For anybody that's brand new to the Snow Gardener channel, my name is Marlene, my husband's name is Bridger, and we started budgeting in 2020. We were a hot mess. I had almost $50,000 in credit card debt by myself. At that point, my husband and I were not married yet. We did live together, but we were not married, so we budgeted 100% separately. We have continued to budget separately, which some people agree with, some people don't agree with, but it works for us. Now, just because we budget separately doesn't mean we don't put money in together for a lot of our goals and inspirations. And most recently, at the end of 2023 and beginning of 2024, my husband went through a point in his business where he got no money coming in. So I went ahead and stepped up and was able to pay all of the bills. And because of some financial struggles that we have not divulged to everyone what the details are, our goals were shook up like we've never had them shook up before. We had to use a whole bunch of our savings, and we also had to take on more debt. Now, we are still in this process a little bit, but it is getting better every single month. And the future is still a little bit unknown for what we're dealing with. However, we are staying positive. And when it happened, it felt like life punched us in the face. I mean, really, it happens to all of us. The most important thing when that happens to you is that you don't give up and that you keep striving towards where you're going. And so for us, we really had to buckle down. We started a pantry challenge where we were trying to spend very little on our groceries, which if you've watched my other channel, then you know that I have a large prepper pantry and I watch my food budget like no other. Don't worry, you guys, I will be having a video coming out for that channel too. It's been quite a while, and I'll tell you guys why I haven't had a video on that channel. But we also had to decide how much money did we want to take out of our savings accounts. We did not want to take us all the way down to zero, because at the point that we had to make that decision, my husband was bringing $0 in. Now, we were very fortunate that, of course, I had my full-time pay from the sheriff's office, and I also had my Etsy and YouTube pay. And in the past, 6-7 months, my Etsy and YouTube paychecks have helped us achieve goals. They have helped us pay bills. They have helped us invest in the Snow Gardener business to purchase products and stuff like that. So we are definitely blessed, even though we were down on our luck. You guys were all so supportive. So let's talk a little bit really quick about the debt journey and how it has changed. As some of you guys know, I did have to take on a new debt. And when I took these numbers, it was at the beginning of the month. I know we're at the end of the month. I was going to try to get this video filmed before we went on vacation. It did not happen. And yes, we still did take a vacation this year. One thing for these numbers is you're going to see there's a lot of differences in places that I never imagined there would be. You're going to see new things, which I'm super excited to start getting some stats on, because we are looking at a new future where we can envision ourselves debt-free. Now, of course, our debt does include our home, and that's one of our goals as well, is to pay off our home. But let's go ahead and jump into the numbers. All right, here we are, you guys. We're going to rip the Band-Aid off. I'm going to walk you through every step of this check-in. You'll notice that I've changed it to debt and savings yearly check-in. We're going to go ahead and start with the debt. We started in April 2020 of tracking our debt. I had actually started a couple months before. It was when the pandemic hit and life was so uncertain, and I took a hard look at my finances and I knew I was in trouble. So I started looking on YouTube. I found The Budget Mom. I had already followed Dave Ramsey previously, and I agree with a lot of what Dave Ramsey says, but it doesn't 100% work for me. Then I found The Budget Mom, and she is absolutely amazing because she says that you can pay off debt and vacation and still spend a little bit of money while you're in your debt-free journey. And that is what we're doing. All right, so let's go ahead and jump into this. And so here you can see I've got debt name, I've got starting balance, which was 2020, last year's balance, today's balance, and plus minus. And there might be a note or two in here just to remind myself why that changed, and so I can talk to you guys about it. So the first thing that we start out with are my credit cards. You guys, I was out of control. I just swiped so much stuff. I had went through a divorce, and when I went through my divorce, you guys, I had zero debt. Zero debt. I had nothing. In a few short years, I took myself to $48,280.19 just in credit cards, you guys. That's not including any home. It's not including a car, personal loans, anything like that. It was just credit cards. Then last year, I got creative and I bought a new to me car, and I used a balance transfer for 0%. Last year when I bought my car, the interest rates were going up for cars, and a new car, even with a credit score in the high 7s, low 800s, the lowest I could get was about 6 or 7%. And I said, forget that. So I got creative. I did a balance transfer. So I did have debt on a credit card last year, but this was for my car. So I had $8,475.92. And if you do follow my channel, you'll know that I paid that off well in advance of the 12-month deadline. So I made a difference this last year of paying off $8,475.92. This is the first time that I have had a paid off car with a title in hand in more years than I can remember. Then we go ahead and go to college. So in April 2020, I had some college debt. This was for my bachelor's in criminal justice. And I'm super excited to share with you guys that I graduated this year. So I now have a bachelor's in criminal justice. And so this was not a student loan. This was just a payment plan with the college. And so in April, I owed $3,615. I got that paid off fairly quickly. And so I did not take any extra debt on to finish out my degree. Then I had my car, and the car that I had in April 2020 had a $30,000 balance. So $30,147.82. Of course, I paid that off when I did the creative financing to get my car last year. So $0 across the board for that. And then we have property that we own together. And so we had $13,611.66 that we owed in 2020. We had two separate personal loans for this. I had already paid off my personal loan, but it was smaller than my husband's. So we now own our 6 acres. We have 3 2-acre parcels that you can build homes on. And we now own it outright. And all we have to do is pay property taxes every year on it. And then credit cards. So I've got us credit cards. We didn't have any credit cards together when we started our budgeting journey. Last year, we had $4,277.87 sitting on a credit card. This was our Home Depot card. This year, at the beginning of the month, when I did this, it was $10,183.31. This was Home Depot. This was also the debt that you guys have seen me be working on. That sounds silly, but that's what came out of my mouth. So that is the Discover card. This is the brand new debt that we had to take care of a situation that we were in. So we did take on new credit card debt. So we're up $5,905.44 from last year. I never would have expected this, you guys, but life happens. And then we've got my husband's credit cards. Now, actually, let me go ahead and scroll on down to my husband's stuff total, because in the beginning of our budgeting journey, my husband was ashamed of his finances. He didn't want things broken down because he had gotten himself in a mess as well. And so he didn't want it broken down. So I didn't share with anybody what the broken down totals were. So back in April of 2020, he had $270,217.65 in debt between credit cards, his house, and his truck. Now, last year, he had $6,247.13 in credit card debt. I'm proud to say that this year he doesn't have any, so he paid off $6,247.13. The house was at $172,286.13 last year. We're down to $163,287.75. So we did make almost $9,000 in debt payments, not including interest, of course, towards the home. Now, trucks, my husband had one truck. He sold the truck. He started his own business. Then he needed a larger truck because with the business he was in, he had to rent earth moving machinery, things like that. So he got a different truck. So he did change trucks, and I just bumped that up. Sorry about that, you guys. He did change trucks, so he took on more debt. So in April, the truck that he had, he owed $19,499.70. In April of this year, he owes $28,515.73. So that is an increase of $9,000.16 and $9,016 and 3 cents. Sometimes those big numbers are so hard. So this was an unexpected as well, you guys, for the truck. I'm not sure what my husband plans on doing now because he has changed positions in what he's doing. So let's go ahead and scroll on down. So right here, even with all of the changes, right here, we had $365,800. I can't say those big numbers. $365,872.32 in debt when we started in April 2020. And you guys, if you notice, there's really no big student loan debt. So that was ridiculous. Last year, we were at $210,786.75. My goal this year was to make it below $200,000, which we would have done, no doubt about it, if life hadn't kicked us in the face. But I am excited to say that we're well below that now. But of course, these numbers were taken at the beginning of the month. And this still means that even though we took on extra debt, we still are $8,799.96 lower than last year. So we're still going in the right direction. All right, so let's go ahead and talk about savings. So in April 2020, I had $1,000 in savings. My husband had absolutely nothing. Last year, we had $44,066.87. Remember when I told you we took a whole bunch out of our savings? This year, we had $31,486.28. That's still a large amount. And I'm sure some of you guys are looking at this large amount going, why didn't you, instead of taking on new debt, why didn't you go into this? That was where we were having a hard time trying to decide what to do. So we chose to take the debt on. And so that means we are down $12,580.59 in our savings. However, you guys, you know that we had been building our savings as well. So before the disaster that struck we had saved quite a bit more. So we are actually closer to about 30,000 down in our savings compared to what we had in November of last year. But again, you've got to pick yourself up. Then, you guys, I decided to go ahead and start tracking HSAs and stuff. So in April 2020, I had $4,102.69 in my HSA. Last year, I had $10,183.31. In April, I had $11,458.36, which increased by $1,275.05. I am now on a medication that is quite expensive. So I don't know what this is going to do between 24 and 25, but I'm still hopeful that it is going to continue to increase because with our HSA, you don't have to spend the money. It can sit in there. And of course, it's tax-free money because your HSA money comes out before taxes are figured. And then for me, for retirement and investment, I didn't have any numbers until this year. So this is a brand new one. So at my age, I should have way more in this account than I do. Retirement and investing, I have $121,541.44 this year. This is the first year that I've taken the numbers. And like I said, if you don't take track of the numbers or you don't keep track of the numbers, then how the heck are you going to know where you're going and where you're coming from? So for my hubby, his HSA, he didn't have any numbers or anything like that from previous years. So he's got $1,413.72. And he is going to be building his up as well. Then also for his retirement and investing. Now, of course, he owned his own company, and so there was not the retirement plan through the company. However, now he has switched jobs. He is going to have an opportunity to increase this. So he's got $10,260.22. So he is super excited to make progress on this. Then if we look here, so our savings total, when you add things up. Now, I did not add these three things in right here because that would have skewed the numbers and made them look weird. So, of course, I had savings and HSA. That's the only numbers that we tracked in 2020. So I had $5,102.69. In April 23, that increased to $54,650.18. Then this year, of course, we did have a decrease because we took all of that money out of savings. So we are actually down a total of $11,705.54. Like I said, these three numbers are not in this total. Now, when I do next year's, the total that will be in 2023 will include these numbers because we'll have numbers for 25. So the numbers with all of those is right here. So it's $160.02. So we're going to scroll on down and we're going to take this off. So here is my quote. It always seems impossible until it's done. Things can be so big and you can look at those big numbers and you can just work yourself up and go, there's no way I'm ever going to be able to pay that off. In 2020, when I saw I had $48,280 in debt, I was a single mom of 2 children. I was like, how am I going to do this? Well, you guys, I did it. Just keep your head up and keep working. And so, of course, we started in April 2020 with $365,872. The debt change for the yearly debt change was $8,799.96. Since 2020, it was down $163,885.53. Our savings yearly, of course, is down $11,705.54. But since 2020, we are still $37,841.95 higher than we were. Now, this number again does not include these new stats here. So would I say that I'm happy with where we're at? No, I wouldn't say. Would I say that I'm proud of where we're at? Yes, I still would, because like people always say, you have no idea where everybody's at until you walk in their shoes. And we chose not to share what we were going through, but the finances were obviously impacted by it. So we're not trying to hide it. You guys know that here we are 100% transparent. We let you guys know the good, the bad, the ugly. And of course, we let you know when we have those huge celebrations, like I did when I paid off my car, getting ready to have a huge celebration for paying off the debt that I just added to this year. But you guys, I hope this encourages you somewhat. I hope it keeps you guys realistic in setting your goals. We're all different. We all have different goals in our lives. We all want different things. And make sure that you don't ever look at somebody else's journey and let that discourage you. Each of us are on our own journey. And just remember to never forget your why. Why are you doing it? Why do you want to get where you want to go? And do you know where you want to go? If you don't know where you want to go, then it's going to be really hard to make the changes that you need to make. All right, you guys, that's it for me today. I hope you guys have an amazing day. And until I see you guys next time, remember to keep on smiling. Bye, everybody.
Step 1, wake up early, gonna rise with the sun. Step 2, get some good, some food in you. Step 3, think real hard about what you want to be. Step 4, everybody just do your thing.